China just bought a big batch from Argentina. Well, folks, there's a storm brewing in soybeans. China just bought a big batch from Argentina, not from the USA. And let me tell you, tariffs we slapped on years ago and during this new administration are the reason why. Here's what happened, according to Reuters. Argentina suspended export taxes, making their soybeans cheaper on the international market. And China swooped in and booked at least 10 cargoes, each around 65,000 tons. Meanwhile, not a single cargo from the brand new American harvest. We got cut out of the deal completely. Now, this isn't just about Argentina dropping taxes. This story starts years ago and continues through this new Trump administration with the U.S.-China trade war. When America slapped tariffs on Chinese goods, Beijing hit back with retaliatory tariffs on U.S. soybeans. This made our beans more expensive for Chinese buyers. Now, here's the thing. Once China got burned, they learned not to rely so heavily on American soy. They started building long-term supply from South America, Brazil first, and now Argentina. So every time tariffs went up, U.S. farmers paid the price, not the folks in Washington, D.C. We lost trust and we lost market share. So now, with Argentina's beans cheaper, China doesn't even look at us. That means less demand for American soybeans. Less demand means lower prices. For farmers already fighting high fuel and fertilizer costs, this isn't just a headache, it's the difference between profit and loss. And this isn't a one-off. If China keeps buying from Argentina, it cements a pattern. America gets sidelined while South America gets stronger. And markets don't forgive lost trust. Once a buyer moves on, they don't always come back. That's the real danger of these tariffs wars. You win the headline fight, but you lose the customer forever. Tariffs sound tough in DC, but out here where we raise these crops, they land like a hammer. Farmers didn't pick the trade fight with China, but they've been paying for it every harvest. We produce the best beans in the world, but when tariffs make our crop more expensive, China shops elsewhere. And now Argentina, with this tax break, slips right in. So what's the fix? We need smarter trade deals, not headline tariff wars. We need long-term partnerships with buyers, not quick political stunts. And we need to keep American farmers competitive by making sure we're not priced out with our own policies. Folks, these tariffs were sold as tough talk, but in the end, they opened the door for Argentina and Brazil to take our markets. And that's bad news for every American. If you care about keeping American farms alive, if you care about protecting the U.S. food supply and keeping food inexpensive for Americans, share this video with your neighbors and tell them these trade wars are costing us. And it's not just the farmers in rural America that are paying the price. Pretty soon, it's going to be all of us.
Hello, hello, hello.
No matter how paranoid or conspiracy-minded you may be, we got to come to grips with the fact that what the government is actually doing is worse than we can possibly.
Thank you. It was in my ear. Hello, everybody. Mic check. Mic check. I am here by myself today. So you got to sit there and look at my ugly face while we discuss what's going on with the farming industry. And I am not an expert on the topic, but I think it's something that needs to be, we need to look into because this tariff war is supposed to be a long game, and it's turning out to, that game is getting pretty short. Hello to everyone in the chat. Peace, peace, peace. Bam. Michael is taking care of his children. They might be watching. Hi, kids. And so I'm here by myself today, and I'm super, super tired, y'all. I just got out of training, my first week of training, and it is very, very, very mentally draining. I am training to become a couturier, which is a fancy term for a car dealer. And there's a lot of mental math that you have to do. And since it's the first week, I'm dusting off the cobwebs of my brain, and it's been testy. Black Life is here with us, helping. Is that thing? You hear that? Why is it doing that?
The TV is frozen.
That's gonna mess with me. So I'm gonna play something else because I need to stop that. I can't focus like that. My TV is frozen and it keeps doing the same thing over again for 10 seconds, and then it loops and does it again. And it is the what do you call that? What show is that? Law and Order, yeah. Doom doom. Law and Order Special Victims Unit. So I'm gonna play this so I can go fix that and we can move on. So let me move myself. I'll be right back, y'all.
American farmers is zero empathy. We want them to fail. Well, that's what we got for American farmers is zero empathy. We want them to fail. That's what you're saying out there. That's what Americans are saying right now.
Here's the thing. Americans did have empathy. We had empathy and voted for an administration that wanted to expand on crop insurance and extend credit to farmers and even like give them the right to repair their own equipment, which a lot of them do not have right now. And then they went around and voted for the other guy. A lot of us still have empathy, but empathy is a luxury when you are forced to defend yourselves, when the National Guard is being sent into your cities for no reason whatsoever, when the Supreme Court is eyeing your rights as a human being like wolves over a pile of meat. People cannot help you when they're forced to defend and help themselves. Empathy was before, survival is now.
Empathy was before, survival is now.
So that's what we got for American farmers.
That's crazy work. I thought that was
I feel sad for Charlie Kirk.
Hold on.
I legitimately feel sorrow for this man's being. I don't think anybody in this man's inner circle actually loves him.
All right, Michael, I am freaking out without you here. Just so you know. Empathy was before. Now everybody's in survival mode. What are they expecting us to do? I don't know. What are they expecting us to do? Protest? Bitch and moan about it? I mean, I think the big issue is that they aren't receiving the subsidies that they normally would receive. So they are freaking out about that all over the damn place. And we are going to get into that. But before we do, I want you to hear this lady. She's a farmer herself. Maybe let us listen to the whine first. Whine a little bit first, and then we'll get into it. Can you play? You can. I guess you could just man the chat for me. Make way for lab-grown food. Lance says farmers simply have to make a way for lab-grown food. So you put that up for me. Yes? Put it up. Black Life hasn't, you haven't helped in a long time, huh? So you're rusty. She's a little rusty. You still never put it up.
Every time I touch it, it goes, look.
Click.
I click it.
There you go. Voila. Yeah, they need to they need to make way for Lance. They need to make way for JD Vance to scoop up some of those acres, and then maybe they'll be able to farm the land for the new owners. Unfortunately for him, JD Vance and Bill Gates. All right, so let's listen to this guy. He is from Missouri, I believe Missouri. Online. There we go.
Cultural products in this country that we can consume.
You see what it keeps doing?
Country that we can consume domestically. 1 in every 4 rows of soybeans in every field in the entire United States of America has to go abroad. China is the largest importer of soybeans in the world. They import 61% of the world's market. Last year, we sent around 12 billion, I think $14 billion worth of soybeans the year before. For the first time in 20 years, China's bought 0 soybeans and 0 new crop corn out of this country.
0?
So we went from 12 billion to 0.
China said, "Oh, that's how you want to play it? Okay, I don't give up." You're not the only place in town that I could go shop. Keeps doing that.
Brazil. You see, we lost 42% of our market share in the first tariff war. In Trump's first tariff war, the Chinese went to buying their soybeans from Brazil. They invested billions of dollars in Brazilian infrastructure. They have moved into Africa, and they're going to commercially farm in Africa. Since we left with USAID, they moved their Belt and Road program into Africa. So we've pretty much lost the Chinese market share. If we got 100% of the soybean business, Katie, for every country in the world except for Brazil and Argentina, we would still only have half the soybean business that China.
Interesting. Lance, I'm not sure. Lance is asking where do we get our rice from? For some reason, I wanted to say Haiti, but I don't think that's correct. Can you look that up for us, Black Light? Where do we get our rice from? Yep.
Primarily Arkansas, California, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, and Texas.
Oh, so okay. So that's why that makes sense, because this, when I said Haiti, is because Bill Clinton was subsidizing Haiti's rice, and that was like their main export. So that's how he economically suppressed them. So most of our rice comes from, I don't know if you say it again.
Arkansas is the leading rice producing state.
They could probably hear you. Can you guys hear her? Her voice is way more. I have to hold on to the mic like this, but she has a very boisterous voice. So Arkansas, Louisiana, which I found to be interesting. Lance laughs at that. I had no idea. Mississippi,
Missouri,
that makes sense.
and Texas.
And Texas.
In addition to domestic productions, they also get jasmine rice from Thailand.
Okay. Cool. All right, so this is a Texas farmer. Let's see what he has to say, because they all produce different things. So let's see.
It's Joe from Georgia. So this is news out of Texas.
Georgia.
But folks, these are alarm bells ringing for the entire United States, and our government is not listening. Overnight, multiple farms in the state of Texas completely shut down. And the reason for this shutdown was because they have lost almost 100% of their workforce. Now, we know this is the result of the immigration raids and stricter enforcement, but the ripple effect is going to be felt all the way across this country. Now, you've got crops that are rotting in the fields. You have livestock that is not being attended to at all. And that takes a lot of personnel. And we're talking, so now we're getting every area of food to include meat. And the communities that surround these farms, those businesses and those people who depend on the income from these farms, it's creating disasters for small communities in Texas. Now, this is not stopping at Texas farms. This is going to end up all the way across America, especially in the breadbasket, the middle of the nation, because they have tons of immigrant help. But folks, the alarm bells are ringing. Your food on your plate is being affected. So you got to think about it. It won't be soon until either prices go ridiculously high or you just won't have any food to buy.
No matter how paranoid or conspiracy minded you may be, we got to come to grips with the fact that what the government
Stop playing something, it'll play the next video. And that's so annoying. So then I have to wait. Anyway. I actually played that one out of order. I did not want to play that one just yet because that's about the workforce. But I wasn't paying attention. And I'm a little frazzled since I'm here by myself. So, but put a pin in that. Put a pin in that because we're going to be talking about the workforce for the farmers. Right now, we're just kind of really talking about their harvest. But we'll get back to that because that is really important. And it's really alarming some of the things that they are talking about doing to accommodate the workforce that they're losing. And thank you, Lance. That was very sweet of you. As soon as I read that, I started hearing. Oh, let me just put it up on the screen. As soon as I read that, I started hearing that Michael Jackson song in my head. You are not alone. I love that song. I am here with you. All right. Though we're far away, always here to stay. Here we go. Roosting chickens.
After video explaining in no uncertain terms that the chickens will come home to roost in rural America because of the choices that we've made. You can't deny it. You can't argue the data. You can't say that the facts that we've laid out are not true. And in the responses that I sometimes get, it's very apparent that facts are not what's driving the disagreement with the arguments that we've been making. I see farmers and ranchers come back and say, well, just diversify, as if it's an easy thing to do, to convert half of your row crop acreage into raising cattle, or converting your cow operation in the hills of the Ozarks of Missouri into a row crop operation, or raising the kinds of agricultural products that I raise that have taken me years to learn how to convert because they're specialty products that are difficult to learn. The bottom line is we've been arguing that the chickens will come home to roost, and we've been arguing all along that the best approach is not to accommodate for the bad policy, but to elect politicians that understand that the policy is bad and who have the willpower and the gumption and the knowledge and the stick-to-itiveness to overcome the fear they have of their political survivability to pass policies that are good for rural America. Well, now the chickens are here. They're pecking at the chicken house door, and we're seeing it all across the country. Just recently in Arkansas, several hundred farmers gathered together at a town hall. And everybody that's written about that meeting, including the farmers who attended themselves, have said there was fear in their eyes. fear in their voice, fear in their questions, concern about their farms, concern about their families, concern about their rural way of life. And I can already hear the keyboard warriors loosening up their thumbs to say, FAFO, you're getting what you voted for. This is what you wanted. Spell it with me. BULLSHIT. There is a giant percentage of people in rural America that did not vote for this administration, for these politicians, and for these policies. And frankly, your broad brush covers up the simple fact that the collapse of the food supply is not just going to harm the farmers who did vote for this president and these politicians and these
I just lost the audio. Did you? Can you hear it?
I can hear it. Well, now it was like
in rural America.
Okay.
it's not.
He's saying, I mean, I'm not buying this, that the majority of people in rural America did not vote for this. I'm not buying that. During the first administration, Trump subsidized the farming industry a lot. So they were expecting to get some subsidies like that again. So they were still voting that they voted for other people to get hurt. They didn't think it was going to affect them. So I think that is kind of an FAFO. I mean, what do you want me to do about it? I feel, I feel bad for them, but I'm not losing sleep over it. And that's probably that's probably very mean, but that's how I feel. It is what it is. This is the same guy. He's very vocal. But after I play him, I want you to see why I'm not losing that much sleep over it. And so I'll play that after this guy right here.
Your family on the line to defend that product. Product would put your farm, your name, your family on the line to defend that product. None of you would. Not a single damn one of you would. And yet here you are. Here you are defending a program without explanation, without benefit, without a long-term goal.
By the way, he's talking about the tariffs, I believe.
Manufacturing in this country, manufacturing jobs
This is annoying.
are down. Unemployment.
It keeps see how it keeps muting?
Without a long-term goal. It's not improving manufacturing in this country. Manufacturing jobs are down. Unemployment is up. Interest rates are dropping, and we're celebrating that fact, but interest rates only go down because inflation is going up. Because the economy is slowing.
Economics 101.
You're not benefiting from it. And yeah, cattlemen, I know you're doing well right now, but I've posted this before. Go look at the increase in cattle prices, look at those percentages, and look what president the majority of those percentages came under. I'm not even going to say his name. You do the research. You go look and see where the majority of those beef increases in price came from. Look and see whose administration that occurred under, and then come back to me and make the argument that it's this president that made the beef industry profitable. Because his policies have already cost us nearly $3 billion in overseas beef sales. And what happens when the market stabilizes? What happens when herd sizes catch up? And those markets are gone. for good. I've never heard a shit show production like the one I just heard from the White House right here in the United States of America.
Never.
In the shit show,
second time being president.
The shit sandwich that was just delivered to farmers and ranchers in that press conference was only 10% of the overall shit show. Man, if I was ever needed anywhere, it's out in rural America on the road talking about these problems and begging my fellow rural citizens to wake up.
So which one is it, sir? Did they vote for it or not? Because the last video, he specifically said that the majority of them did not vote the way that we are saying that they voted. So should I believe you or my lying eyes? Because the data is the data. You can't get away from it. You just can't get away from it. Okay, so I mean, I have a few more of these where these people are panicking, and I mean panicking. And okay, I just have two more where they are with farmers discussing what's going on with their farms, and then I want this woman rancher to break it down for you guys. Because Michael did the calculations, and I found it to be quite interesting, but I'm going to hold on to it for a minute. Keep you in suspense. Lance, you're hi, Wolfie. Hi, Jacqueline. Lance, you're being so silly. I voted for the what do you say? Can you pull that up?
Put where it came from first, and then I'll put it
where it came from.
Yeah,
what does that
where
mean?
his comment came from. So first it was this one.
Oh, okay. I never thought the lepers would eat my face. said the woman who voted for leopards eating people's face party. Right?
That's it. This.
I heard that well, I can't, dang, that's small. I heard that and now I vote the birds pecking my eyes out party. What happened to what is that? Bootstraps, pull yourself up, something, yada yada. And the free market, let the market decide. What happened to that? It's like now all the farmers want socialism. Very interesting. I find that extremely interesting. Run that back. Here we go.
On a lot of misinformation, and he is not helping the farmer. I mean, we farm about 3,500 acres. We are going to be so far in the red after the crop comes off, sold. You can only sit on it so long. You got bills to pay, and now we're dealing with 7, 8, 9, 10% operating notes at the local bank. You know, when are you going to stand up for us instead of kissing his ass for these trade deals? And the tariffs, more so the tariffs than the trade.
Just to answer your question, Jacqueline, Black Life had a sty in her eye. Well, they thought it was a sty. It turned out to be a cyst, right? She had to get a cyst cut out of her eye. Sounds very painful. Sounds very painful. All right. I just want to get back to these. Just have two more to play of people complaining, and then we're gonna get into some other stuff that I find to be quite interesting about what's going on with the farmers. It was the question is being asked where it's like right there
Eyelid.
on the bottom eyelid. Like, oh my gosh, that just seems scary because you were awake the whole time, right? I'd be like, put me to sleep. I don't even like when they blow that thing into, for people who wear glasses. You know what I'm talking about, when they're checking your eye pressure and they blow that that air bubble in your eye. Oh, I hate that. And then when they bring that scope or whatever, they come and touch your eye. Oh gosh, just the fact of seeing it come towards you makes you want to tense up. But anyway, and I've been wearing glasses since I was in elementary school, so I still haven't gotten used to any of those things. And I don't think I ever will. All right, so this is Kansas. We're going around the country, y'all.
In Kansas. We are all certainly lifelong Republicans, and we were so happy to vote for Trump in all three of his elections. However, we were certainly not aware that he was going to put a funding freeze on all USAID. 100% of our wheat produce is bought by USAID and shipped out of the country. So our farm is completely bankrupt. We have no customer. We had this whole deal with the US government, and now that is just gone in a second.
We told you so. I voted to save your farm. I voted for you. You voted against me. I warned you that within the pages of P 2025, it laid out an intricate plan to decimate organizations like USAID. They do not want any of our money going across the country for free anymore. And that is written in those pages. And we told you about it.
I think it's on page like 291 or something like that. I might have it up here. But they were like, we should leave the farmers alone and let them I can't remember what it said. I think I have it. So
no,
just let them finish.
No, I'd rather listen to my daddy shit sandwich over here.
Daddy shit
because
sandwich.
He says, one, it's a Democrat hoax, so it must be. Two, he doesn't know anything about it, so he mustn't. And we're lying to you, so you are. Period. So instead of saying, we didn't know this was going to happen, we didn't know, there's no way we could have known. What you should have been saying is, I refuse to listen. I didn't want to trust you. I rather trust a billionaire whose ulterior motives are only to benefit himself and to enrich his family. And I'm voting based on racism. Just say those things, because that's what it is. Everything that that is happening to you was 100% laid out. They told you it was coming. And we told you it was coming. So I don't care. I hope you all lose your fucking farms. In Arkansas, all the farmers are drafting a letter to beg Daddy Stain for federal funds because they're broke.
Are they though?
But they should have known, because we told them it was coming. So in order for America to see that we weren't lying, I need you all to lose your farms. Hey, look, you guys told us hard times were coming. We were all going to have to suffer a little. At least that's what Daddy Elon said. So this is you have taken one for the team, taken one for America. Oh, unless, of course, you meant other people had to suffer and not you.
Right, that's exactly what they meant.
I'm going to use some words that I
other people had to
ever
suffer
use.
and not me. Everybody say, hey, my brother's here. My brother's in the house. This is my big bro, Django X1. All right. So she didn't give a fuck. She was like, I hope you lose your farm. I was like, oh my gosh. That's, I'm not actively hoping they lose their farm, but if you lose it, hey, you lose it. You can figure something else out. People lose their jobs every day. Layoffs are happening in various industries across America. So they'll have to figure something else out. That's what they tell us, right? Just go get another job. So go get another job. Now, this is why I don't necessarily think that the issue is as bad as they are saying it is. Well, one, Michael did a little digging, and he left me with a little note to read for you guys. All right, as of 2024, there are approximately 1.88 million farms in the United States, which reflects a decline from previous years. Texas has the highest number of farms with about 231,000 farms. There have been 250 bankruptcies between April 2024 and March 2025. So if you do the math, with the 1.88 million farms as of 2024, 250 bankruptcies is about, well, it is 0.0133%. So that is not that much. So this is kind of like, they like to hype up issues that aren't actually really issues, like trans in the bathroom or I'm not trans in the bathroom, trans sports and stuff like that, when they make up like 0.01% of people in sports. So I kind of consider it a nothing burger, but it's a way for the Democrats to like feel empowered, like, we told you so, you should have listened to us. It's just their way of their love language, how they fight each other back and forth about who was right and who was wrong, when in the end it's really nothing. So let's listen to this lady give us a little insight into why the farmers are so upset. There we go.
And something we may have been hearing a lot from farmers is we're having a big
Hold on. Before I start, let me just read that. I just recently watched an old JB Font where he predicted that a third of the people who voted for Trump will end up hating him by the end of his term. Yeah. It's getting there. It's definitely getting there. What does Big Bro say? JD Vance's company is buying these farms for pennies on the dollar so these large corps can get more land. Yep. JD and Bill Gates. So hi Michael. What do you think about Zoran Munda? Okay, well that's in a different topic, but I could just throw out my thoughts real quick. I think that his ideas or I like his ideas. I don't think he'll be able to implement them because of the governor of the state. And I think he knows that, but it sounds good. And with it sounding good and he's getting so much support, I find that very hopeful for a shift in parts of our society, or at least showing that that our voices like ours are out there. And then it's very I think it sheds a light on the whole, oh, let me see, her face is so big right there. Look at me. I think it sheds a light on the whole vote blue no matter who is what they kept telling us. Well, he's blue. So is it vote blue no matter who, or vote blue as long as it's a centrist neoliberal candidate? So I think that's interesting. So that's what I think about him. Among some other things, but yeah. Yes, Cobra. Hi, Cobra, by the way. Nihilo Nordstrom is Batman, and Michael is Bruce Wayne. And neither of them are here today. He's in his Batcave. All right. Come on with it, lady. Here we go.
Urgency financially because of the tariffs and the trade war. And something I keep hearing is we were lied to. We didn't think Trump would do this. So as someone who is a farmer and was a farmer during the Trump 2024 election cycle, in fact, I was running for office as Commissioner of Agriculture in my home state of North Carolina. Let me tell you what the conversation in agriculture was actually like. I can't recall anybody who actually thought Trump wasn't going to start a trade war. What do you mean we were lied to? Everyone knew this was going to happen. Because for one thing, he was running on starting a trade war with China again. And for another, he already did it once. Everybody knew this was going to happen. Everybody in agriculture knew this was going to happen. And as someone who's a farmer and, not necessarily aligned politically with most farmers, I found that kind of confusing, just like most people do. Oh, I should mention, in 2024, I was running as a Democrat, right? So I was talking with farmers and I was talking about politics with people. Everybody knew Trump was going to start a trade war because
she's telling on him.
He ran on, and he already did it once. Everybody knew who this. Now, like most people, I thought this is insane. How are farmers whose job depends on experts going to support a guy who is promising to destroy their business? I got an opportunity to sit down with the farm lobbyist, and credit to him, he did actually sit down with me because I was running as a Democrat. A lot of farm spokespeople just wouldn't. And I asked him point blank, I said, hey, we all know this is going to happen. We all know this is his plan to start a trade war that is going to hurt your businesses just like it did last time. We all know this, right? And he said, yep, yeah, we know. And I said, then explain to me why we're supporting this guy. Make it make sense to me. I said, explain it to me like I'm five, because I am a Democrat, so you'll have no trouble speaking to me like I'm five. So let's start with that. And he said, listen, we understand there's some risks with being part of the Trump coalition. We understand there's some risks to us, but we also understand that there are going to be some benefits. And he wouldn't elaborate beyond that. But let's unpack this just a minute. What kind of benefits could that have meant, right? What kind of benefits could people have been looking forward to that might have made up for the fact that we're about to start a trade war? And everybody knew it. Well, first off, last time Trump did this, he just gave farmers a lot of free money. So I'm sure people assume that would happen again. And we'll get back to that in a second because it's Thursday, the 11th of September, and that hasn't happened yet. Let's talk about what else Trump has done for farmers.
Let's just stop right there for a minute, right? She's letting the cat out of the bag. They knew what he was going to do. He said what he was going to do, but they thought they were going to be insulated from the effects of it because he gave them subsidies the first time around, and a lot of them, by the way. So they thought they were going to get some of that easy money again, and they wouldn't be affected. So let me see. Farmers got, I can show you this. Farmers got billions from taxpayers in 2019, and hardly anyone objected. This is from December 31st, 2019. The federal government delivered an emergency financial aid package to America's farmers. Farm subsidies jumped to their highest level in 14 years, most of them paid out without any action by Congress. Money flowed to farmers like Robert Henry, I could skip that. Okay. The soybeans that he did, well, I'll just read it. When I visited in early July, many of his fields near Madrid, Missouri, had been flooded for months, preventing him from working in them. The soybeans that he did manage to grow had fallen in value. China wasn't buying them in retaliation for Trump administration's tariffs. That's when the government swooped on in. They swooped on in. And what did they do? Some of the aid came from long familiar programs. And we could look at some of those, by the way. Government subsidized crop insurance covered some of the losses from flooding. Other payments were unprecedented. The U.S. Department of Agriculture simply sent him a check to compensate him for the low prices resulting from the trade war. And let's look at some of those. So this is from the Farm Subsidy Database. Between 1995 to 2024, because that's the blocks that they show you. So it's kind of hard to explain. Maybe I can. I think I have something better because I wanted you to see the difference in the subsidies over time. Let me see if I can find that. And if I can't, just can't. But I'm pretty sure I pulled it up. Well, I'll look for it. And we'll get back to it. But I don't know if this is big enough. Let me make it bigger for the people in the back. Boom. There we go. All right. Crop insurance subsidies. And remember, 1995 to 2024. 145 billion. Commodity programs, 279.4 billion. Disaster programs, 59.7 billion. And conservation programs, 55 billion. Okay. There was a huge spike in 2020 of the subsidies that farmers get, and that's what I was looking for to show you. But I guess I cannot, or maybe we'll look a little later. But here are some of the direct payments program that shows you the number of recipients and the total amount in the subsidies. So loan deficiency programs, production flexibility, market, you get the idea. Livestock, disaster programs, crop disaster, coronavirus food assistance, total emergency relief, dairy programs. The list goes on and on. All right, so now let me get back to Miss Lady. Let me check the comments first. Anything I'm missing? Black life. Black life. Life, life. All right. Let's get back to this lady. To the next part of what she wants to enlighten us on. Come on, Miss Lady.
He did make it easier to do slavery on farms and get away with it. And I don't even mean 13th Amendment, which is already technically legal. I mean, he made it easier to bring in H-2A workers and treat them like trash. Okay, he made it easier to do that. There were some reforms to the H-2A system in 2024 because we found that a lot of people were abusing it and enslaving workers, keeping them trapped in this country, keeping them from leaving, threatening their families to force them to work harder and not paying them enough. You know, if that's not slavery, what is? So he did that.
Ugly truth.
Trump did that for farmers. He made it easier to keep people in bondage. So that's a benefit. There was, of course, the big, beautiful bill that had lots and lots of tax breaks, which farmers are really interested in because folks don't realize this, but farmers are actually quite wealthy. The majority of small family farmers at this point in U.S. history are millionaires. Most small family farmers are millionaires.
That that whatever that was, it was so small I could not see it. Let me pull it back and just leave it right there for you guys. She's trying to show you the average. Can you read that?
What, this?
Yeah.
Or this?
This.
No.
Yeah, it's too small for me to read, but you hear what she's saying, right? Even the small on small farms, they're millionaires. I see the word farm. I can't say that word right. I think it's like farm with the AR arm. Oh, like arm farm. I say it like form, like it's a form. But most of them are millionaires. Those tractors ain't cheap. And that land, there's equity in that land. So let me pull it back just a little bit so she could keep telling on them. But you did hear what she was saying about the slavery part. We're going to get back to that too. But keep that in the back of your mind.
Farmers are actually quite wealthy. The majority of small family farmers at this point in U.S. history are millionaires. Most small family farmers are millionaires. So this is a group of people, farmers, who are very, very interested in tax breaks because they have a lot of estate, a lot of property to think about tax-wise. Something that kind of drives me nuts is someone who came up in agriculture as a farm worker, working for farmers. People keep saying, but farmers are working class. They're voting against the working class interests. When will they wake up? Never. Working class. We've had the numbers on this for decades. The USDA's had data on this for years on the internet where you could just look it up. No one's ever bothered to look. We just assumed farmers were working class because, I don't know, big trucks, because those are cheap. Yeah. I don't know why people think farmers are working class. Land and tractors and trucks ain't cheap. It's not that complicated. You know, we had a century where, yeah, the smallest, poorest family farms were getting pushed out. Well, what happens after a century then? Who's left? It's not poor people, is it? So anyway, that's another big benefit that farmers got from Trump is big tax breaks. That big, beautiful bill also had, was it 52 billion in additional free money for farmers? But of course, that's not enough. They're expecting other bailouts to come after that. And that has not been available so far. So everybody's starting to sweat just a little bit.
They're not sweating because they're broke. They're sweating because they want to maintain the level of lifestyle that they have right at this moment. So that's what she's trying to break down right there. Or that's what I took from it. What is Michael saying? Let me see. U.S. small family farmers have received enough government assistance. It is time for the government to issue cash payment reparations to American freedmen of chattel slavery. That's damn right, baby. All right. Let's see what else she has to say.
What else was there? Oh, yeah. Environmental regulations. Yeah, environmental regulations was another thing they didn't like very much. And looks like those are not happening so much anymore either. So when people tell you as farmers, we were lied to, that is absolutely not the case. We all knew was coming. I thought we all knew this was the bargain we were driving. So when people come up and say now, oh, we were lied to. By what? Your own eyes? You didn't notice last time you did this? What do you mean you were lied to? To genuinely think you were lied to. I think at this point you had to have wanted to be lied to. And that's not being lied to anymore. That's participating in a little group LARP activity. This we were lied to thing is just real interesting to watch because if you were there, you know, no, we were not lied to. We all knew this was going to happen, and people just assumed that free money would be there. Let's wrap up the free money conversation. In Trump's first term,
hold on, I want to pull this back so I can read it. She didn't leave stuff up long enough. I'm a slow reader. I need a little time. Okay, let's pull this back. They thought that Trump would magically make good trade deals appear out of thin air. Where'd it go? Oh, shit. There it is. Come back. Yeah, because he was so good at that last time around. She's trolling Trump. What's Jacqueline saying? I bet if the promise of 40 acres and a mule to freedmen had been kept, they wouldn't be getting subsidies from the U.S. government now. That would be left to sink. They would be left to sink or swim, and that is correct. I mean, I should have pulled that up about from the Black Farmers Association. Maybe I could try to pull it up while she's talking, because you make a very good point, Jacqueline. And I can back up what you're saying. All right, I pulled it back a little bit. All right, girl.
The we were lied to thing is just real interesting to watch, because if you were there, no, we were not lied to. We all knew this was going to happen, and people just assumed that free money would be there. Let's wrap up this free money conversation. In Trump's first term, he started trade wars that destroyed a lot of farmers' sales, but he made it up to them by giving out free money. And I think people just assumed that would happen the second time around. Last time he was president, he still needed to get elected again. This time, it's his second term. So either we follow the Constitution and he can't run for president again, or we just throw all of that away. And then he doesn't really need votes so much anymore because we're not really doing the Constitution anyway. So yeah. He courted farmers in 2024 because he needed them. And now that he's in power, he doesn't need farmers anymore. He doesn't need us more. It's as simple as that. I mean, this is a guy who got kind of famous for stiffing his contractors. He doesn't need us anymore. And here in agriculture, I thought we all knew that story about free milk and a cow. And he's got the milk. You don't need to buy the cow. If you don't look out, sometimes you get milked. As far as being rescued from this, my opinion is, I grew up in a pretty conservative household, and I don't hold with everything I was raised with, but we talked a lot about letting people have the dignity of their choice. People are grown-ups. They should understand the choices that they're making with all the information available to us. And especially grown adults with a good amount of wealth, you'd assume that with that some insight into how to build your business. And if it doesn't, is that the taxpayer's problem to solve? Or is it an opportunity for new people with skills and maybe some more insight to get involved? I think that's a question we should be asking. I think a lot of us in agriculture got really used to the idea that we are irreplaceable. And I think we are now seeing that that is not true. We could have thought about it and realized it wasn't true, but now the world is forcibly showing us it's not true. China can get all the soybeans it needs from Brazil. And if you weren't growing food for the American market, then what do Americans need to bail you out for? These are questions I think we should ask. It would be very healthy for the farm sector to ask itself some questions like this, but we didn't. And this is, when you rush blindly into things, this is how it can end for you. Not well. So, I really do believe in letting adults have the dignity of their choice. And
burn.
I wish it hadn't come to this. In fact, I spent quite a bit of time and energy trying to keep it from coming to this. But this is where we are now. And this is where we are now. I hope this is helpful for folks who are trying to understand what's going on. This is what's going on.
The dignity of your choice. I find that quite interesting. Okay, girl, you can go away now. Let's see. Here we go. I mean, this is capitalism, isn't it? Is this capitalism or what? It's like, it's capitalism for thee, socialism for me, is basically what they're saying, right? So Jacqueline, I'm gonna share this from Phantom Ecology. Oh, can't see it. Well, what's going on? All right. Give me a second, guys. So to answer your questions, Jacqueline, can you put that comment back up there? If you could find it. Oh, I found it. Voila. All right, let me make this a little bit bigger so we can kind of look at the disparities with not just Black farmers. Just we'll look at the breakdown together. So Black farmers receive less than 0.3% of federal agriculture payments. The USDA cuts spotlight of farming community long excluded from federal aid. Maybe they meant put spotlight on a farming community long excluded from federal aid. That doesn't sound, am I reading that wonky? Or did they write that wonky? Black farmers in the U.S. have historically faced systemic discrimination in federal agricultural funding, a disparity further exacerbated by recent policy shifts, climate program freezes, and budget cuts. Despite accounting for 1.7% of U.S. farms, Black operated farms received just 0.17 of total payments under 2020 coronavirus food assistance program. This article examines the inequities in USDA subsidies, the impact of climate and DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion. I encourage people to say that all the way out and not use the acronym. So it forces people when they are talking against diversity, equity, and inclusion. I don't know. I think it just makes you a little more accountable for what you're saying, than throwing out a buzz acronym DEI. Anyway, and the effects of austerity measures on Black farming communities. So I'm just gonna break down this part and then we can move on. So the subsidy allocation by race. USDA data reveals stark funding gaps in federal 2022, non-Hispanic farmers received an $7,774 in government payments compared to $16,417 for non-Hispanic white farms, a 53% gap. Only 10 to 18% of socially disadvantaged farms, including Black operated farms, received USDA payments compared to 26% of white operated farms. Black farmers represented 1% of U.S. farms, but received just 0.2% of the total market value of agricultural products sold. These disparities stem from structural barriers. Black operated farms are generally smaller. 109 acres versus 408 acres for white farms, and disproportionately focus on livestock. 68 to 77% of Black farms focus on livestock versus 52% of white farms. A sector that receives fewer subsidies than crop-based agriculture. We need to move on to crops. Because Black people don't want to pick shit. We did that already. We're not doing that anymore. And then as far as COVID relief, fewer than 20% of Black operated farms applied. So they didn't even apply. Well, that's on them. Or Paycheck Protection Program, PPP relief, compared to higher participation rates among white farmers. Well, you can't blame anybody about that than yourself. The average CFAP payment to Black farmers was less than half of what white farmers received. So that's a problem. So 16,168 versus 27,413. All right. So we get the drift, right? Yeah. And I could put this in the chat if anybody wants to read more of it. All right. So let's talk about. Oh, I have two. Michael said I definitely needed to play these videos. So I should do that. I don't know what they are, but he said absolutely play these videos. And I think one of these is like a joke, maybe. Which is talking about subsidies. So yeah, let's play this one. Am I missing something in the chat before I move on? Okay, you guys are talking about some other stuff. which is perfectly fine. We can walk and we can chew gum. All right. Here's our guy. Here you go, guy. Does that every time.
Having to rely on the American taxpayers. Guys, I am fucking broke. I have no fucking money. I have fucking nothing. I need that $896,000 from the United States government just to fucking get by. I can barely even afford to walk out of my front fucking door because Donald Trump has fucked up the splorn market so fucking bad. And y'all on here are giving me hate like, oh, why'd you plant splorn? I'm a fucking generational splorn farmer. My family has been planting splorn since 1823 in fucking Germany. And then we come over to America to start planting splorn, and this is the way that I am fucking treated. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for your tax dollars. I would rather sell my crop than take your tax dollars, but it doesn't work that way. And I'm not even sure if that paint I don't even know if I'm going to get it. And I don't know how I'm going to survive. I have nothing to sell. I have nothing. I literally just have nothing. I am near bankruptcy because of Donald Trump and these motherfucking splorn tariffs. Guys, I'm living like a fucking peasant here.
I see why he wanted me to play that. That shit was hilarious. The man was, how many trucks did he, personal vehicles, did he walk by? Oh my gosh, that was hilarious. Splorn, yeah, splorn. What the fuck? Splorn. Splorn is, I had to look it up myself. I should have had that already up for you guys because I knew somebody was going to ask what the hell is that, because I asked what the hell is that. So, and none of us are farmers, so I figured I should probably look that up. And forgot to, oh, you know what? It's in mine. It is, I did look it up. I just have to grab it real quick. It's splorn. The proper word for, I mean, the proper correct word for it is sorghum. But they're in different countries. They say different. They have different words for it. But let me share this so you can see. We can read together. Oh, I should have put what is sorghum grain. Well, come on, can't you? Oh, I know why. I don't have it on AI mode. There we go. Come on, AI. Sorghum grain is the edible ancient seed of cereal grass plant, commonly used in food products, livestock feed, and biofuel production. It is a versatile, drought-tolerant crop grown in various colors, including white, red, and brown. And China apparently was buying a lot of that from us. And now they're not. They said, the hell with you. We're going to Argentina. I think they went to Argentina, Brazil, and I believe Australia. But I could be wrong on the details of that. But yeah, that's what that is. Sorghum. All right. Now let me go to this other one that he told me to definitely play. You definitely have to play this. I played this guy in the beginning. He was like, you know, crying about a bailout that, like, where's our bailout or something. And I guess, and this is a response to it. So yeah. Hi, John H. Hi, comrade. Sean. Girl on girl splorn is the best. I stopped watching Exploring years ago. Well, maybe you should get back into it, Lance. I don't know. It's tough times. It's tough times. You gotta do what you gotta do to keep yourself happy. All right. So here we go. That volume. And press that play.
For American farmers is zero empathy. We want them to fail. That's what you're saying out there. That's what Americans are saying right now is well, next time you'll vote the right way, or that's what you get for who you voted for. That to me, I want to say it doesn't sound very American of people, but here lately, that's all we're doing is complaining.
Okay. I'm making a second go around at talking to this farmer. This time I've tagged him. And please, I just ask my followers not to go in there and post anything negative, because I'm going to talk to you, the original farmer content creator who made this video. So you're feeling like the left doesn't have any empathy for what farmers are going through. You don't know me. My father was the president of a papers union. I am born and bred Democrat, working class supporter my whole life. And I do understand that just like the Republicans, the Democratic Party has also become corporatist. But I got to tell you something. You're just not.
I see why he wanted me to play this one, definitely. All right.
Tell you something. You're just not seeing. Farmers who voted for Donald Trump are like most MAGA supporters. They are living in a very manufactured, manipulated, alternate reality. I trust you have Fox News playing in the background all the time, or listening to Charlie Kirk, or other right-wing news sources. And I just want to ask you this question, very honestly. Can you remember a time when any of them made a plea, talked about the plight of the American farmer under this Trump administration, how these deportations and how the tariffs were affecting farmers? Has anybody on the right went to bat for farmers? Or are you hearing on Fox News how great everything is going? I want you to seriously think about that before you answer it. Because I'm going to tell you, there's your reality as MAGA supporters, and then there's the real reality that most of the rest of the world lives in. And you've got to know who's been going to bat for farmers. It's been all of us on the left. I've worked with commercial.
Have we? I don't remember that. Yeah, I find that interesting. She's absolutely right. Like who on the right besides the farmers are going to bat for farmers? So why is all of this vitriol like coming to us? Because we don't have the empathy that you are demanding out of us. You cannot demand empathy for someone. You can't demand that from them, as no matter how hard you try. But yeah, all right, let me pull this back a little bit. I'm glad she said that the Democratic Party is like just a corporatist party as well. I don't know why you still vote for them. Like, make it make sense. But I think, too many people on the left are, they feel like they're pigeonholed, like they don't have a choice but to vote for the lesser of the two evils. But we have a choice, folks. We could tell them both to kick rocks. All right, here we go.
All of us on the left. I've worked with commercial farmers for over 30 years with what I do for a living. I know what you guys are going through. And I have been fighting this Republican Party that has gutted so many programs that would help all Americans and especially farmers. I have not heard anyone on the right blasting Elon Musk and the kids he sent in there to gut all the programs that sustain the American farmer. I have not heard MAGA supporters fighting for farmers by bringing to light how you're losing your workforce with these inhumane, racist deportations. But we've been talking about it on the left. Some of the best content creators talking about the plight of the American farmer are farmers on the left. We have been empathetic. We've been screaming for you, but you don't listen to us because you're busy demonizing the left. I'm going to tell you something. We still have empathy for the American farmer, and the way that we're going to show it is we're going into that voting booth next November at midterms, and we're voting out these MAGA Republicans, and we're voting in Democrats who are going to go back to funding the very programs that sustained your farm, your generational farm. We're fighting for it. We're fighting for you, and it's in your hands now. Only you can save your farms. By getting off of this cultural war manipulation bullshit and walking in with us at midterms and voting out these MAGA Republicans that are going to make sure none of you are surviving by the time the billionaire class takes it all. It's going to be up to you if you're going to save your family farm or keep on Fox News. And I say that from a place of empathy and compassion. I really do.
Look, speaking of empathy and compassion, I got to pull this up from Jacqueline.
All my life, I have been told that Black men had a genetic predisposition to being violent.
Stop.
They called us super predator.
Stop. There we go. So Jacqueline says, is she talking about the exploited workforce from across the border by any chance? No. She's not talking about their exploitation, right? So her empathy kind of stops at a certain point, doesn't it? Speaking of the labor, I want to kind of shift to the labor force of the farming industry, because I might not have that much empathy for the farmers, but I do have some empathy for their workforce. So that's what I'd like to focus on right now. Now I'm going to bring back this lady, the lady that kind of like let the cat out of the bag about the farmers. How they aren't really missing any meals. They're just not living in the comfort level that they are used to, or they're not, they got to use some of that money they've been hoarding. Look at this. Why is this doing this? This is annoying me. Okay. I'm going to let her talk, and then I'm going to try to figure out what the hell is going on with my system. Well, thank you, Sean. I don't know what I did, but 100. Oh yeah, she's a liberal. What do you expect? Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's listen to this lady talk about the farming workforce.
$1 slavery bust in Georgia, the federal government realized we got to fix some things about the legal immigration process if that can happen to people. So they fixed it to make slavery harder to do. Oh yeah? How they do that? Oh, basic stuff. If you get caught doing slavery to legal immigrants, you can't hire legal immigrants anymore. Seriously, stop taking people's passports. And if someone wants to talk to their priest or pastor, you have to let them. Freedom of religion. Those are the big fixes because they just sound like common sense, right? I thought so too. But a lot of people in agriculture started crying about how all these anti-slavery changes were going to put them out of business. Mostly labor contractors. If your business can't run without slavery, it must not be a very good business. You said it, not me. So then what happened? Oh, all those anti-slavery immigration fixes? Trump got rid of back in June. So you're telling me all this is happening and it's not in the news anywhere? Yeah, it's all over the farm news because they're celebrating the end of all these excessive regulations. That's the cool thing about how the major news networks have made this all about border security, because then nobody's paying attention to what folks are doing right here in the US.
I don't know what just happened. Oh, because it started over. Yeah, that is so interesting. They are celebrating within the farm community, but for other things like cheap labor and deregulation. But they're actively complaining in the town halls about not receiving subsidies. So how you like them apples? Now, while I'm moving on to this next one, Black Light, can you tell that story from your comment?
Oh yeah, I saw a video of construction workers or workers doing a roof in this big ass house, and then you see ICE drivers driving up, and the comments and the content said at the bottom said they waited until the workers finished the roof and then called ICE to avoid having to pay them for the work.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
If there's not a law to help the people, I don't know. Like, what's to say that is not going to continue to happen? You know what I mean? Like, what's to say that that's not happening right now? It's disgusting, bro.
That is real disgusting. Jacqueline said that's just evil, but not surprising, unfortunately. Yeah, that is fucking evil. Man. All right. Here's my little friend again.
Bottom line, if you want to stop slavery and human trafficking, you go after the people who are doing it to other people, not to the workers they're preying on, right? Trump is doing the opposite. He's arresting the workers. And we already had laws to get these modern farm slavery rings under control, and Trump got rid of them. So farm slavery in the US is a thing right now, and Trump's making it worse. Did I get that right? Yeah, well, this is a look, I'm a farmer. And I know it can make other farmers mad when I talk about this because they'd just rather not know. But this is my industry, and I want myself and all the rest of us to have some kind of future to look forward to. And to get there, we have got to think ahead a little bit and help ourselves out. Number one, this ain't right. And number two, even if you don't care about right and wrong, think about yourself. Think ahead a little bit. What do you think happens when you come to depend on organized crime to run your farm? You are just setting yourself up to be their next victim. Yeah, that sounds like asking for it. Yeah. And I really wish people would stop falling for it when politicians say, I'm going to stop human trafficking, but what they do is help the crooks get away with things. Yeah, sounds like if you're trying to solve the problem, you're arresting the perps, not helping them out. 100%. Ooh, whose kid is that just fell off the swings?
This is who we've always been.
I don't know what that. Who's that playing? What it might be? All right. Oh, I gotta watch that later. That looks interesting.
Miss what kind of what?
Hold on. Let me play the next one and then I'll tell you what to look up. Okay. So I thought that was interesting, that video because this is not just happening with farmers, but I think it's more prevalent in the farming industry. You know how ICE was like busting all these workers, but they're the owners of the companies, nobody was getting arrested. Nobody but the workers were getting arrested. I remember a while ago, I had told y'all about this Mike Pompeo after he left I'm trying to see if I can look it up. after he left the administration, he went to work for a law firm that specialized in representing business owners who were hiring people who were undocumented. And so it's like, how you're openly saying that you are like, this is a problem and we need to fix it. But then when you go back into the private sector, you are openly trying to make sure the problem doesn't get fixed. Let me see if I can find it. And so I'll play this other video, and then while I'm playing the other video, I'm going to look for this for you guys. Who else did that, by the way? What was his name? It was I could see his face. He was on the Obama administration. The black guy. Gosh, I can't remember. I can't think of his name right now. And when I get off, when we end the stream together and go our separate ways, his name, Eric Holder. I was going to say his name was going to come to me later, but it just came to me, Eric Holder. Okay, when he left the administration, they were talking about like building. They were for the worker and all this bullshit. Well, when he left the administration and went into the private sector, he went to work for a law firm that specialized in busting unions. So are you for the worker or are you not? Like, what the fuck is going on here? This is the math ain't mathing. It's not making any sense. Yeah, here we go. Let me share. Am I missing any comments while I'm pulling this up? Miss Black Light? Give it up for Black Light. Doing a great job over there. You just over there commenting and having fun. Am I missing anything, Black Light? Okay, so here we go. Let's play. Michael saying something to me? Okay. All right.
Trump's plan to try to put black people back out into the fields. And I gave y'all some examples of things that are going on for black people to get. I'm about to show you is about what's happening to Alabama, to the farming industry in Alabama, because they can't get nobody to work them fields now that the immigrants are gone. But if you can't get the black people out there, the immigrants are already gone. Who's next? Well, I'm glad you asked, because Florida has this bill that they're proposing to have the 14 and the 15-year-olds work overnight. They'll have the ability to work overnight, even on school nights. In addition to that, the 16 and 17-year-olds that currently have these protections against them that say that they can't work a certain amount of hours and they can't work the breaks, that's going to be gone. Oh, these people ain't even mentally prepared to be out there in the fields. It's back-breaking work. But them youngest, boy, they got good backs. You know what I'm talking about? Hold on a minute.
Keith Smith says most immigration workers left after the law took effect. So this potato farmer hired Americans. Problem is, he says most show up late, work slower, and are ready to head home after lunch. Some even quit after just one day out in the field.
There's a Hispanic man that works for us, and I said, he's 52, and he'll make anywhere from $70 to $100 a day. I said, if you can keep up with him and do a good job, you can make that. But they're not physically in shape to do it, and, probably not mentally tough enough to do it some of it.
Over on this tomato farm, the story's not much different. Brent Smith may be the only exception.
The bending over, and if you're not used to working and kneeling down and bending over and constantly up and down all day long, is the grueling part of it. It really is. I mean, other than that, it's not any harder than anything else.
With a 9.9 unemployment rate, Alabama is almost 1% higher than the national average. Tomato farmers say skilled workers can make anywhere from $200 to $300 a day, but unskilled workers make much less. And farmers say many Americans are not physically fit and simply don't work fast enough.
It's just going to take body conditioning, mental conditioning, in order to earn enough money to make it worth a day's work.
And what's not surprising is that 65% of y'all in Alabama voted for Trump. And in the counties where most of the farming takes place, 77% of y'all voted for Trump. So the farming industry right now is struggling. And nobody wants the farming.
Y'all, I've been on mute. I've been talking to y'all on mute. My bad. All right. It wasn't that important anyway.
Takes place, 77% of y'all voted for Trump. So the farming industry right now is struggling. And nobody wants the farming industry to struggle because we need fruits and vegetables. We need our produce. We need our chickens. But y'all better go talk to y'all daddy. Because some black folks ain't getting out there. I hope you had a day you deserve. I know I'm going to piss y'all off, but it's the truth anyway. I hope you had a day you deserve.
I was looking. Okay, so I did find, just so you guys know, here it is. Oh, did I not find it? No, I found it. Is this the font that I thought I found it? All right, I will try again. I think it's called Oppenheimer or something. It's the name of the law firm. Oppenheimer. I'm gonna look for it again though. But oh, you can't even see that either. Oh, I'm messing up now, y'all. I was on a roll, and look at me now. Let me get my shit together. Hold on. Woosah. All right. I have one more about the child labor that I think is important. There you go. Is this it? Yeah, I think this is it, but if it's not, it's worth a watch anyway. But I think this is it. Yeah, okay, thank you, Sean. Let me see if I think it was Oppenheimer. Practicing witchcraft. I wish I could put a spell on you. I love that song, by the way, by Screaming Jay Hawkins. I put a spell on you because you're mine. You better watch the things you do. I ain't lying. And I really like Nina Simone's version of it. And then there's like a disco, I forgot the lady's name, a disco version of it. This black lady from, I think she was from the UK. Man, I wish I remembered her name. Anyway, here we go. Let me turn down my piece.
Are finding out the hard way. Hundreds of them packed into a Baptist church in Brooklyn, lining up out the door, hats in hand, begging for help. Why are they begging for help? Their farms are failing all thanks to Donald Trump, a guy most of them all voted for. Their crop prices have crashed, and costs for fertilizer, fuel, and equipment are through the roof. One farmer says, last year rice paid 40% more. Now we're spending more to grow it and making less than ever. Some of them are walking away from land that's been in their families for centuries. We're done, one farmer said. My son won't be the 7th generation, ruining your family's legacy to own the libs. What a great idea. Then one farmer, who spent 39 years in the field, said, Mr. Trump, you looked at me and said, I love you. Mr. Trump, I need to see the fruit of your love. Yeah, Fafo's giving you the side eye too, because what the heck was even that? The guy you voted for doesn't even have love for his own wives. What makes you think he's going to love you? Trump wrecked your markets with his trade war. Trump's farm bill delays help for people like you until next year. And his party is the one cutting the programs that you're now begging to keep. You voted for the people who said government help is socialism. And now you want to bail out? I farm 800 acres with 50-year-old tractors, another farmer said. I can't afford help. I can barely hang on. They thought the government cuts would hurt someone else. The poor, the cities, the immigrants, not them. But now the Trump administration has come for their land and their family. And guess what? They're finally living in the America they voted for.
Okay, I'll turn it off. Turn it off. Okay, that wasn't about labor, so my bad. But it was still interesting. I'm almost done. I was trying to find, because sometimes you think of stuff like on the fly while you're up here, and there is this, I'm going to paraphrase it as much as I can, because I don't have the audio. And if anybody has heard this before, let me know. But I think it was either Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell talking or something, and they were talking about how they could use what? Well, I can't focus if you're doing that, please. Thank you. They were Black Life is done. She's ready to get out of here. And hi, Michael. I see you. That's good for your ass. I see you, Michael. And I'm glad. I appreciate your encouragement. All right. And my brother is like, look at this. Practice voodoo. Let me stick a doll in your ass. Anyway, so it was like Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham or something discussing how they can get kids into the labor force quicker, and they could use Christianity to do it. Something about teaching children about the fruits of their labor and building. I don't know, what a Christian people be saying. building a strong moral value or something. Like you teach that in the classroom. These are, private schools, whatever. And then if you start when they're about 4, like it might take 4 years or whatever, and then you could start, like, as part of their schooling, they would have like this work program. Now, of course, the work that they're doing all of this for free. I wish I could have found that audio. Has anyone else seen that? I know I'm not the only person that's heard that before. Is this I think I just found it. I think it was Sean, it was Arbor, not Oppenheimer. Okay, I can share it too. Let me show you guys this bullshit here. As Jacqueline said, the evildoers. All right. There's your boy. You can't see it yet. There we go. There's your boy. Mike Pompey. And what's up with him? Why is he looking like that? This man over here on the right, he looks like, why he look so shocked? He looks like Pete Hetzel. I always say his damn name. On a bender or something. Very crazy. All right, so let's look at what the hell this is. Experience. What do they do? Sorry, y'all. If I would have known we were getting into this, I would already have this pulled up. Wait, let me take you off the screen. No. Black Life is out.
Oh. Fell up the chair.
Okay. Oh, it's. There's not a lot of space back here. We're in like a cat corner.
We're in a hole.
In a hole?
Hole in the wall.
Down in the hole. That is a little bit of I forgot the name. Alice in Chains for you. A little Alice in Chains for you. All right, so is it saying what they do? I can't find it. All right, y'all. I don't want to waste. Okay. I don't want to waste my time with that and bore you to smithereens looking for it. But we have discussed this in previous shows, just so you know. Yeah, so I think I'm done. I'm like shifting through the stuff. Shifting through the shit to see if there's anything else. And I think that's it. Oh, hold on. I got one more. For yes. How foreign subsidies became America's largest corporate welfare program. No, it's welfare for me and not for thee. Hi, Sequata. How you doing? Yes, Kill Your Egregores. That is a great song. That is a great album, by the way. That's a great emo album. I will give Black Life all of your goodbyes. She's already out of here. But let's just look at this real quick. And then I'll probably meet you guys in the chat verse somewhere. Now this is from February 2002. So this is pre-Trump. Okay, so it's not just a Trump thing, but here we go. How foreign subsidies became America's largest corporate welfare program. With the House and Senate close to agreeing on a new $171 billion foreign bill, the time is right to take a fresh look at foreign policy to ensure that taxpayers are getting their money's worth. Although foreign subsidies are justified as helping struggling family farmers make ends meet, the bulk of subsidy payments goes to the largest high-income farms. What happened to the bootstraps? If they need subsidies to make ends meet, then shouldn't they do what they tell us? Get a better job, right? Hi, Cowboy Kitty. In fact, current foreign policy allocates 2 out of every 3 foreign subsidy dollars to the top 10% of subsidy recipients, while completely shutting 60% of farmers out of subsidy programs. Now that is very interesting because I'm going to pull something up real quick. but my memory is kind of bad. So let's go back to, I got to go back to what I was saying. All right. So, okay. The subsidy payments goes to the largest high income farms, right? All right. And we said that the foreign policy allocates 2 out of every 3 farm subsidy dollars to the top 10% of subsidy recipients, while completely shutting 60% of farmers out of the subsidy programs. The reason why I thought that was interesting is because if we look at this chart, and can you see the chart? No. Can you see it now? Yeah. All right. So the large scale farms, can't say that damn word properly. If we look at the percentage of farms, the large scale farms are 4%. Only 4%. Small family farms are 86%, mid-sized family 6%, and then the non-family farms are 4%. So say out of the large family farm and the non-family farm, maybe we put those two together. I'm not sure. Or maybe it just needs to be the large scale family farm. So out of that 4%, and if we go back to where we were before, let's head on back over there. Out of that 4%, they got the top 10% of the subsidies. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, top 10%. So that's pretty messed up. Read full report. We're not going to read the full report, but we're going to read a little bit, just a little bit. The ceilings are in place on most farm subsidy programs. They're rarely enforced by Congress for the U.S. Department of Agriculture. And there contains loopholes. Don't we love the loopholes that are there on purpose? The loopholes that allow the largest farms and agribusinesses to bypass limits. As a result, taxpayers are paying billions of dollars to subsidize prosperous farms. Making matters worse, many of the large farms that receive subsidies have used these funds to buy out small farms and consolidate the agricultural industry. And that was in 2002. So imagine, it's only going to get worse. Only going to get worse. So yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to talk about with you people, with my favorite people. Nahilo, I hope that your children's mother is doing well. I'm sure we'll talk afterwards, and you'll give me an update. So I have 2 videos to play on the outro, and this is, I don't know why are we playing this one again? Oh, because a lot of people are clowning this dude, man. This dude got so many stitches on his bailout video. I think this is like the 3rd time we've looked at this goddamn video. And every time it's good. Okay, let's just watch it together. Yeah, here we go.
Want them to fail. That's what you're saying out there. That's what Americans are saying right now is well, next time you'll vote the right way, or that's what you get for who you voted for. That to me, I want to say it doesn't sound very American of people, but here lately, that's all we're doing is complaining.
No disrespect, sir, but you are sadly mistaken. The American people had empathy. That's why we voted the way we did. We knew what would happen to the farmers. They told us what would happen to the farmers. We had a previous presidency that showed us what would happen to the farmers. And some of us, not enough of us, voted with empathy because we didn't want to see the farmers lose their farms. We didn't want people to go bankrupt and go out of business. But unfortunately, there wasn't enough of us with empathy. to vote in that direction. There were too many.
Something that bothers me about this having empathy. Like, are you kidding me? So you have enough empathy for the farmers, but to vote for another another war person that is probably going to be a war criminal too. I mean, well, definitely would be one, because we already had a presidency where she was vice president, and she said she wouldn't do anything different. So your empathy extends to the farmers, but not to genocide. Like, I just find that so fucking confusing. But anyway, like, how do you do that mental gymnastics in your head to make it seem like you are the better person, and you have the empathy because of your vote, but then your empathy doesn't extend beyond what you think is going to be the lesser of the evil that would benefit you. Did I say that right? Did that come out right? I think y'all get the point. It's just pretty fucking annoying. Okay, but let's hear him out.
For other people to suffer, and other that voted for other people to suffer, and other people.
Sir, you also voted for other people to suffer. Like, what is so hard? How is it so hard to get that? Okay, yeah, it is about to be time to go because I'm about to get pissed. Shit. Okay.
That voted for other people to suffer, and other people to face cruelties, and now you got to suffer the consequences. You know, we can't feed everybody. You know, that's socialism. We can't give health care to everybody. You know, that's socialism. You know, we can't provide student loan relief. You know, that's socialism. But you know, now if the farmers want a bailout, I got news for you. That's socialism. Y'all don't like socialism. So again, my mom said sometimes you gotta let people touch the stove and suffer the consequences.
Oh.
Meet your consequences.
Okay, I just realized this dude had on. Okay, I just realized. Okay, he's a blue dim. Okay, like I wonder if he's Bernard Taylor. Because I mean, why would you wear a shirt like that? Like, why would you be repping someone that hard? There's a big ass thing on the side of you. If you're not the person that's actually running for Congress, that would seem a little sus, right? Okay, wait, hold on. I'm trying to fix mine. What did Michael say? I don't know who Bernard Taylor is, but it's probably not a good look. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I think that might be Bernard Taylor, but because man, that shit is big as hell on his on the left side, right by his face. Well, the leopard is eating his face. Anyway, Savvy Savs is going live, so I am going to. I'll probably see you guys in the chat over there, I'm sure. So I'm gonna play this one last video on my way out. Thank you for hanging out with me. And sticking it out with me. This is, I think it might be my first time doing this solo. So I was a bit nervous. Michael is my security blanket. So I hope I did you guys well, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Join our Discord. Oh, I gotta tell y'all something. All right, so I think next week will be the last Thursday I will be able to do the show on Thursdays at 5 because of my because of my training that I'm in to be a couprier. So Michael and I are gonna have to figure some shit out. And eugenics. Yeah, we're gonna have to figure some shit out, and we'll let you know by next Thursday what it is we figured out. And then, of course, you'll see it. I guess we'll have to go put our lives up earlier, and so you'll figure out the time on your own when you're in the YouTube verse looking around at stuff. All right, so I want to say good night to everyone. And we love you, fam.
%, 85% of the farmers, and I love them, and I'm never going to do anything to hurt our farmers.
We've got a real disaster with this tariff deal.
The outlook is so bleak financially.
Now, I've never been as worried as I am now.
Right now, it's predicted soybean farmers can lose $200 or more per acre on this crop. A farmer like myself, we have 1,200 acres of soybeans. That's $240,000 of loss.
It's going to be tough to get some of that business back that we're losing. Retaliatory tariffs has caused us to be less competitive in the global marketplace.
The way things are, there won't be a farmer left in 5 years if things don't change, because our expenses are so high. We would a lot rather have free markets than a handout.